Hello aspirants and welcome again to Legacy IS Academy. In this video, we will be discussing about another threat that is coming from Iran, and this time it's not about blocking the Strait of Hormuz, but it's about blocking the fourth largest shipping route, that is Bab el-Mandeb. If and only if they say if USA escalates the war further, then Iran is going to block Bab el-Mandeb as well. Now, we'll here in the video understand what is this Bab el-Mandeb compared to Strait of Hormuz, how critical this is, what impact will it have on India as well as the rest of the world, and when exactly will Iran do this, and if it does it, what all repercussions does it hold, so on and so forth. So let's get started with the news. So as I mentioned, the news is about Iran threatening to block Bab el-Mandeb. Now, Iran had already blocked Strait of Hormuz, which you can see over here. So here we have Iran. Here, this is the Strait of Hormuz, which has been blocked. And now Iran is talking about blocking Bab el-Mandeb also. Now, interestingly, Iran is on that side. Here, Iran's region or territory is not present, but still it is threatening to block. Now, how is that possible? We will see that as well. Now, remember, the Strait of Hormuz is not completely blocked. That means it is blocked only for the enemies of Iran, is what Iran has said. That is USA, Israel and the allies of USA and Israel, whereas the Strait of Hormuz is open for friendly countries, which includes India, China, Russia, right? So for us, it has kept it open, considering us as friendly countries, whereas for others, specifically US and Israel, and of course their allies, it has kept it closed. Now they are threatening that they will close the Bab el-Mandeb as well. Now, what will be the trigger to do so? The reason is of course the attack that of US and Israel, but the trigger to do so would be the further escalation of this attack. If that happens, and then Iran is going to block it, is what it is saying, which is going to expand the conflict not just to Strait of Hormuz but to the Bab el-Mandeb as well. Now the question is, what is this Bab el-Mandeb? This is a very narrow maritime passage. At its narrowest, it is just around 29 kilometers wide. Now, it is also known as the Gate of Tears. Why do they call it the Gate of Tears? Because of its narrowness. What happens is, when the ships try to pass, their maneuverability can be difficult, and many ships have suffered damage and deaths have also been there, as a result of which calling this particular strait as the Gate of Tears. The UPSC can directly ask you which of the following strait is considered as the Gate of Tears. It's the Bab el-Mandeb, which you can see, which is present over here. Now, this narrow strait basically connects the Gulf of Aden and the Red Sea. Of course, there is your Arabian Sea as well. So Arabian Sea, Gulf of Aden and Red Sea, but the two sea that it connects is the Gulf of Aden, and basically the Gulf of Aden it connects with the Red Sea. Now, further, what is the strategic importance of this? Now, here is where Bab el-Mandeb is. Now, what happens is the shipment passes from here. This entire shipment is going to pass from here and reaches the Suez Canal, and through the Suez Canal it goes to the European countries, the European Union, European countries which are present over here. So if this Bab el-Mandeb is blocked, the access to the Suez Canal would be blocked, and subsequently the shipment to European Union countries will be blocked. And this area of course handles oil and gas, which will be blocked. Approximately $1 trillion of trade annually is done from this region, which will be blocked. So you can see the impact is going to be massive, as this is the fourth largest global shipment route. Now, what is Iran's strategy over here? Iran is trying to open multi-front escalation. What is that? One is by closing the Strait of Hormuz, the other is by closing the Bab el-Mandeb. So multiple fronts will be blocked, creating more choke points and more pressure. Right now, what how is Iran going to do that? As we have seen, Iran is quite far away from Bab el-Mandeb, right? But still it has influence over that region, and if it wants, it can actually close that region as well. And how is that possible? That will be possible by Houthis. That will be made possible by the Houthis. Now these Houthis are considered to be sort of a rebel group which is backed by Iran. So Iran basically backs the Houthis, and these Houthis are basically based near Bab al-Mandeb, as a result of which they can block this Bab al-Mandeb. So Iran is not going to directly block it, it is going to block it with the help of the Houthis who are based near Bab al-Mandeb. So this relation and connection needs to be absolutely clear. Now the question is, what will happen if the blockade occurs? Now, with respect to the Strait of Hormuz, there was no clear-cut alternative as such, hence it was more critical. Now, this is the fourth largest shipment area or route. However, there is an alternative. Now, that does not mean that the alternative is a straightforward, easy and efficient alternative. Of course not, but at least there is an alternative. And what is that alternative? That alternative is the Cape of Good Hope. Now, this is Bab el-Mandeb. From here it passes through the Suez Canal and to the entire European region. If you block this, there is still a route, but that route is considerably longer. You have to take the shipment around the Cape of Good Hope, entire continent of Africa, periphery of almost more than half of Africa you have to traverse, and that's when you will reach Europe. So it is going to be considerably time taking. When it will take more time, it will require more money. Not just that, the insurance premium would also be higher because the ships are going to stay in water for a longer period of time. The travel time is going to exceed by around 10 to 15 days, increasing the freight corridors. Also remember, it is also going to increase the insurance cost that is there. So that is going to be a huge cost on the companies, and of course it will disrupt the supply chain because there will be delay leading to shortages as well. Now, what will be the economic impact? Of course, as we are already seeing that in the global market, the prices of oil are going up, reaching 100 barrels. It is going to skyrocket even beyond $100 per, not 100 barrel, $100 per barrel. It will skyrocket beyond $100 per barrel as well. That's a possibility. Now, why in India the prices of petrol are not going that much high? It is because when the petrol prices were quite low, the government of India did not correspondingly lower the petrol price, right? So we already had a very high petrol price set, even though the price of the crude oil in the market went up to $35–36 per barrel. As a result, so we had a price which suits $100 per barrel also, because previously the oil had reached $100 per barrel at a point. So we increased our petrol price, then it went down to around $35–36 per barrel. In this situation, India never reduced the prices of petrol and kept on earning revenue by keeping the taxes extremely high. As a result of which, so this was nothing sort of futuristic vision, it was simply that we were not given the due benefit of the decrease in the prices. So all the government is doing is now a course correction. When the prices are going up, it is keeping the prices same, because anyhow it were in sync with this price, right? So that is the reason in India the prices are not as such increasing, but it can go further beyond $100 per barrel, leading to global inflationary pressure, and of course supply chain disruptions will also be there. Now, if you compare the Strait of Hormuz with Bab el-Mandeb, the oil share of this is slightly less. Hormuz had approximately 20% share. Hence, Bab el-Mandeb's importance is high, whereas for Hormuz it was more critical. As far as substitutes is concerned, there was no real substitute for the Strait of Hormuz, whereas here in Bab el-Mandeb, as we have seen, there is a substitute. However, it is going to be time consuming and costlier. So what can be the repercussions here? Of course, the increase in the import bill. India's trade with Europe will be disrupted because we not just import crude oil from that region, we also export. For us specifically, it is the export that will also go to the European Union, which will be disrupted. Same is going to happen for the rest of the world as well. So what can be concluded from this is that the choke points are becoming the leverages in geopolitics. So it's not just the arms and ammunition, but also the geographical location of the country or its friendly countries or friendly organizations. In this case, Houthi are playing a very important role in this particular geopolitics. Thank you.